Get your reactions ready. The live portion of the show will begin in just a moment.
And you can see Aaron Boone clearly not happy, and I don't blame him.
And he just got thrown out.
Right center field, pretty well hit. Back is Hicks at the wall. Goodbye!
And the throw hits the umpire, Larry Vanover.
Well, that is scary right there.
That one's crushed into center field. There it goes. Cordero does it again. That one is driven to right field. Going back is Brennan, turning, looking. It's a big RBI single for Cabrera.
Today is April 12th, 2023, and the Yankees have a matinee matchup in Game 3 of their series versus the Guardians. Clark Schmidt was on the mound looking for a little redemption after a couple of tough starts to open the season, and the Yankees were trying to keep their series win streak alive. My recap and your reactions coming up next. This is NYY Recaps.
Welcome to Yankee Stadium.
Just when they thought I was out, they pull me back in.
Hey guys, before we go any further, I got to take a second to thank tonight's sponsor, Game Time. I'll tell you what, trying to get tickets at the last second has always been a nightmare. Someone says, hey, we should go catch the game tonight, or hey, my favorite band is playing in town next weekend. But thankfully, there's a great app for last-minute ticket deals. Game Time has the deals right up until the day of the event. It's the fastest-growing ticket app in the country for a reason. Download the Game Time app and use the code NYY Recaps for $20 off your first purchase. That's NYY Recaps, no spaces, for $20 off on the Game Time app. Lowest price on last-minute tickets guaranteed. Welcome back, everybody. A series win for the Yankees, their fourth series win in a row to begin the season. Big home run from Franchy Cordero. He continues to just be unbelievable. Matt Carpenter 2.0, I tell you. Big hit from Kyle Higashioka, drove in a couple of runs. Larry Vanover took one off the dome. We'll talk about that. Even bigger hit than anybody from Oswaldo Cabrera. He continues to be impressive. And then Clay Holmes gave us all a heart attack, but the Yankees managed to pull it off. That was a damn fun baseball game, guys. Damn fun game. In case you were at work and missed it, we had some pretty interesting developments today. One was this weird replay moment. One of the weirdest things we've seen since baseball has implemented the replay system. Now, I go live as soon as the game ends. So I'm live usually before the Yes post game or before any of the interviews with the manager, any of that stuff takes place. So if anybody hears any comments as to what exactly happened on the field, post them in the comments and I'll read them. But it seemed to me like the umpires flagrantly disregarded the rules in initiating a challenge. That was weird. We'll talk about it in a second, but let's start at the beginning. Anthony Volpe was hitting leadoff today for the first time in his career. He looked like he might be more comfortable up there. He hit a double off the wall. DJ LeMahieu's going to be out for a couple of days with quad soreness, so I'd imagine you're going to see Volpe up there at least a couple of more times. Honestly, with DJ, I'm fine taking the time to get him healthy. We know what kind of player he can be when he's healthy, but we also know that he's broken down a lot in recent years. Now, quad soreness, you'd much rather have that than anything having to do with the toe or the foot, especially this early in the season. So take the time to get the quad feeling good and hopefully get him back in there this weekend. Gleyber Torres was also out of the starting lineup with a groin strain, but he was actually placed back into the game in the ninth inning to pinch run for Giancarlo. That's how slow Giancarlo is. They're putting a guy with a pulled groin out there to run for him. Unreal. After the game on Monday, we talked about how that could have been the rubber game from this series because, we kind of figured Garrett Cole would win game 2, but, today was a wild card with Clark Schmidt on the mound, and Clark Schmidt honestly did not have a very good day. So, bottom one, things get pretty interesting. And it was the end of a very short day for Aaron Boone. Hicks was in center field, and I swear to God, he had to sort of dive 3 times for balls in the first inning, including each of the first 2 plays of the game. dive is the wrong word. It was more of like a slide, like a half slide that, you kind of go in there and try and scoop the ball rather than laying out completely. He missed the first one. He caught the second one. And then it looked like he caught the third one and turned it into a double play. They called a double play. But then one of the weirdest things you'll ever see happen. The play was not challenged. Yes, cameras had basically zoomed in on Terry Francona, and you're supposed to put up the sign that says, like, wait, and then put the challenge sign up. He never did any of that. Goes to commercial. We come back from commercial, and the umpires had seen on the scoreboard that they got the call wrong, right? Clear as day. Got the call wrong. I'm not arguing that they messed up that Hicks caught the ball. Hicks clearly didn't catch the ball. But the umpires initiated some kind of a challenge. Boone came out. He was absolutely livid. He gets in guys' faces. You could read, and excuse my French, he said, there's no fucking way that's a challenge. It was clear as day. You could see it. He gets tossed out of the game.
Get off my bridge.
And I don't blame him. He hung around for a little while to see how it would work out. They ended up overturning a call. Guardians got 2 runs, and by the end of the inning, they had a 2-0 lead again in this series. Been jumping out early on the Yankees. So, I'd love to give you more details as to what was said on the field, but I have to watch the interviews myself. I don't know. The interviews probably haven't even happened, or they're probably happening right now. So if you hear about it, let me know. Bottom 3. Ahmed Rosario took Schmidt the opposite way for a solo home run to make it 3-0. And then Volpe made a really nice 6-6-3 double play to end the inning.
Double kill.
So the starting pitcher for the Guardians was this guy, Peyton Battenfield. And he was pretty impressive. Stuff isn't amazing, but he knows how to pitch. He set down 13 hitters in a row between Volpe in the first inning and then a base hit by Oswaldo Cabrera in the 5th inning. IKF followed with a base hit, and then Higashioka smoked one over the center fielder's head, scored a couple of runs. Now, the relay throw actually hit the second base umpire, Larry Vanover, right in the dome piece. Got him right in the head, ricocheted off. I'm surprised he survived, honestly. I don't know what the velocity was on the throw, but it had to be at least upper 80s to low 90s. I mean, this is a major leaguer throwing a ball home to try and get the runner, and it was from just beyond second base. So it wasn't the first relay throw, it was the second relay throw. And Vanover just hit it, hit in the side of the head. His cap flew off. Honestly, I thought there might have been a second relay man on the grassy knoll. But for real, I'm glad he's okay. Did not look good. Schmidt was done after 4 innings. Final line, 6 hits, 3 runs, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. ERA on the season is 8.44. And in case you're new to baseball, that's not good. You want it to be lower. You want it to be way lower. He still has nothing to get lefties out, and he still leaves too many balls in the middle of the plate. Even the ones that you'd see the ump call strike on, you see the little dot on the screen, and it's right down the heart of the plate. So he's definitely got some movement. The metrics kind of like his stuff, but don't tell me about, his spin rate and all that stuff. He throws the ball down the middle. You can't do that. Marinaccio worked a scoreless 5th inning with a couple of walks and a couple of strikeouts. Definitely not as sharp with the command as we've seen him the last couple of outings, but hopefully he'll get it back soon. Hopefully not hurt or anything like that. IKF made a really, really nice defensive play over at third base. It's amazing. The Yankees have 3 Gold Glove caliber third basemen, although IKF did boot one later in the game. Top 7. Bet the Ranchie on Franchi.
There it goes. That ball is high. It is far. It is gone.
Unbelievable. The guy's unbelievable. 4th home run of the season. That tied Aaron Judge for the team lead. He's got 11 ribbies now. He leads the team in that category. And what are you going to do when Bader comes back? I mean, Oswaldo had a multi-hit game today. He was 2 for 4. He's hitting .286. But Franchi has a 1.133 OPS, 4 home runs, and he's hitting .280. Oswaldo's a better defender, and he's a switch hitter, but Franchi's going to get some playing time. I'll tell you. The guy can just rake. And, they were talking about it on the broadcast. Some guys just find it at one point in their career. A lot of guys bounce back and forth as a prospect. never quite put it together. He's bounced around a few different teams and so forth. But then sometimes it just clicks. I'm sure you guys can think of some examples. None come to mind right now in my head, but occasionally, guys will put it together later in their career. Mike King did a nice job today. Aaron Judge just missed 2 home runs in the same at-bat in the 8th inning. One was foul, and the second one got caught on the warning track.
Oh, there goes gravity.
Just missed it. Wandy Peralta did a nice job today. They went toe-to-toe with a good Guardians bullpen. Yankees did some impressive work off of one of the most dominant pitchers in baseball, essentially. Giancarlo, he picked up he reached base on a bouncer. I think they scored it an error. 2-base error. It was a chopper to short. Throw to first, got away, made it into the stands or into the camera well. And so he got awarded second base. And then the next batter was Oswaldo Cabrera, and he smoked one off the right field wall. Off of Emmanuel Clase. It ended up being a long single. I think he hit it too hard to be a double. But 5th RBI of the season for Oswaldo. And then Clay Holmes made things really, really interesting late in the game. He came in and just couldn't find the strike zone. He got a couple of quick outs, but then ended up walking the bases loaded, I think. It looked for a second like he was about to implode and melt down. And he'll lose the strike zone from time to time. We've seen that happen. We saw it happen a number of times late last year, especially not so much early in the season. But he got a big strikeout to end the game. And the Yankees take the series.
Ball game over. Yankees win. Yankees win. You're a winner.
I see a lot of people calling for Oswaldo and for Franchi to get the belt. Now, this is something that I typically don't like to do because, I feel like one player should get the belt. But because both of these guys were essential today, we're going to have a shared belt from Cabrera, Oswaldo, and Franchi. I know it looks stupid. But it is what it is. We're sharing the work today because it's about 50-50 in the vote. Let me actually just move one of them over just so it makes a little bit of sense. Franchi and Oswaldo. There we go. The people have spoken. They want a dual belt today. So that's what we're going with. Laura V says that Boone is still hot. He's pissed. I don't blame him. He's still pissed on the screen. Been watching it loop through about 20 times. So here's my take on that situation. If the umpires saw the play on the screen and decided to initiate a challenge on their own, that's a violation of the rules. And the Yankees would have been well deserving of a protest. But if there's something that was said that, maybe Francona didn't give the verbal signal or whatever, and they just let it slide because he's a great manager, well, that also feels shady, but, I could live with it. Frankie Baseball, dropping the knowledge, says Boone said that the call was right, agreed, but feels that the crowd influenced the Guardians' decision to challenge after the permitted 15 seconds. And that sounds correct. That sounds like what I anticipated. Raleigh says, breaking news, Mr. Schmidt is not a major league starter.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah, he had another tough day today. First belt for Oswaldo and Franchi this season. I got to say, I'm super impressed with both of those guys. And it's going to be a really tough decision when Bader comes back. Who's going to lose playing time? I suppose Oswaldo being a utility guy, you could find a way to keep him in the lineup by giving other guys a day off. I mean, today you had 2 infielders that needed a day off. You had DJ was sore, Glaber was sore. So, Oswaldo played, where did he play? Played second base and right field. So you could do that. He's one of those guys who can play multiple positions in the same game. You want to give somebody a half a day off, you can switch him over in the middle of the game. So I do think he's still going to get at-bats, but I think you're going to have to give Frangie a lot of at-bats, especially against right-handed pitchers, which is tough because, Oswaldo hits righties pretty well also. Alan Infante says, miracle that they won with Clark, IKF, and Hicks in the game. Douglas Rowell says, we can't get starting pitcher back to bump Schmidt from the starting rotation soon enough. We can't get a starting pitcher back to... Okay. I misread that. So, yeah, he wants a starting pitcher back so that Clark can go back to the bullpen. Yeah, I think Rodon is probably a little bit closer from what it sounds like. I would say probably early May, just on everything we're hearing. Now, he did have some back soreness, but then he threw a bullpen the next day, so apparently it's no big deal. Luis Severino, I'm always cautious about rushing him back because he seems to have setbacks, but once we get all those guys together, I think we're going to have a hell of a rotation. We talked about it last night. Also, Johnny Brito going tomorrow night. Cannot wait to see him. And that's the official Johnny Burrito sound. Adrian Pell says, I'm new to baseball and I recently discovered your channel. Helps me to learn so much about the game. Love the Yankees. Cheers from Germany. Cheers to you, my friend. Baseball's, in my opinion, the greatest game in the world. Even if they keep tweaking it with all these Rob Manfred rules, I'm going to take off the belt thing. It just looks stupid with two guys up there. But it's still the greatest game to me. All right, let's take a look at the box score. This was an interesting box score today. So yeah, Volpe led off today, 1 for 4 on the day. Yankees only had 7 hits. Cleveland only had 6 hits. Judge took the collar. Rizzo took the collar. Stanton 1 for 4. Torres pinch ran and scored the winning run. Cordero 1 for 4 with that long ball. Cabrera 2 for 4 with a ribby. Big ribby. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa 1 for 4 at third base on the day, hitting 105 late afternoon or early afternoon batting average, we would say. Higashioka 1 for 3 with a ribby, and Hicks 0 for 3. Surprise, surprise. Hitting 167. Hopefully they give him the homestand off. Schmidt, not good today. 4 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts, 8.44 ERA on the season. But look at the bullpen. Marinaccio, King, Peralta, Holmes, goose eggs. James Brin wants to DFA Clark Schmidt. I feel like that's a little rough. I don't know if it's DFA time. I just don't think he's a starting pitcher. He did pretty well out of the bullpen last year. Honestly, you could probably get something for Clark Schmidt because he's, young and controllable and, reasonably healthy. Former first-round draft pick. You might be able to get something for him, a prospect or something. We'll see. Jeff with the $5 dono. Appreciate that. And then Neil Thomas wants to get a new closer. Hey, look, that was not an easy inning to watch in the 9th. Frankie, 2 guys, 1 belt. I like it. Let's see here. Jack Curry apparently... Val in NY says, Jack Curry said someone from the umpire side has to give their reasoning. I agree 100% with Jack.
Absolutely.
Hey. I think you've got to have some kind of a press conference to explain how that call got made. Neil Thomas also says, receive the All Rise coaster. Well made. Appreciate that.
That is correct.
The coasters are super awesome. I love those things. Mike Bragg says, Class A didn't have any class today. We were just a class better, I suppose. Panda says, Judge continues the on-base stretch. Yeah, it's worth noting he walked, and so that's 44 consecutive games for the captain. Jack says, flush Schmidt. It is what it is. He had a tough day. And Shane, trying to call me out, says no mention of the Judge on base streak. By the way, Shane did predict early last year, he predicted that Volpe would be the opening day starting shortstop this year. I doubted him. And once again, I bow to your prognosticative bona fides. Nice job. And then James Brin says umpires should face accountability if they do something wrong, and that is 100% correct. They should.
Game over, man. Game over.
I gotta get out of here.
Doug letting us know that Ian Happ has signed a 3-year extension with the Cubs today. He's a name you've heard about rumored.
Most impressive.
UT says 8.44 ERA for a starter is abysmal. Correct. And he says he can't wait for Rodon or Sevy to get healthy. I wonder what's the status on Davy Garcia. He showed some promise a few seasons back. Should be an option. We talked about him a little bit last night in case you missed the show. He's been throwing 2-inning stints essentially out of the bullpen in AAA. They're trying to turn him into kind of that Mike King style pitcher where you can come in the middle of the game and throw a couple of innings if it's the right matchup, which, hey, if it works out, it works out. He has not been able to put it together as a starter in the minor leagues over the last couple of years, but hey, it is what it is. Hey, so we're going to do a episode of the Yankee Chronicles tonight. I'm changing up the thumbnail a little bit to bring back the more traditional thumbnail style because they haven't been getting a ton of views, but I think it's some of my best work. So it's basically a cinematic look at every series. So I'm going to be putting that out tonight, and then tomorrow we got another recap followed by a weekly NYYPD recap show with Pete and Frankie if we decide to let Frankie back on the way he acted last week. All right, guys, we're going to call it a day. Yankees take this one. They take the series, and they head back home.
Hey, everybody. If you've made it this far, we thank you. If you'd like to support NYY Recaps, please like and subscribe or pay a visit to our Shopify store for some great Yankees merch.
Yes.
If you're watching on YouTube, the link is in the description. But if you're listening to the audio version of this podcast, just visit NYYRecaps.shop. If you really want to support NYY Recaps and help keep the show going year after year, join up as a member.
Join us.
It's $5, and members get their names up in lights during each post-game show. We're also on all podcast platforms, Instagram and Twitch this year. So give us a follow if you use any of those platforms. We're expanding, and we have you to thank for making this such a great community. We'll see you next time.
It is your destiny.
Case closed.
Ball game over.
Most impressive.